Today is the March 25, 2024 meeting of the Westport Commission on Disability. My name is Brian Gallagher. I am the chairman of our commission. Excuse me. We have nobody participating remotely today except one of our participants, Sue Sherman, who's on the phone. There's nobody else, as far as I know. Now, we normally would start with our regular agenda, but we have a special visitor with us today. Dana Stewart from the Recreation Department has come to talk to us about all the special highlights and upcoming events and things like that, and changes to our playgrounds.
Sure. Well, thank you so much for having me today.
Thanks for coming, Dana.
Oh, yes, my pleasure. I created one packet that maybe you all can pass around.
Okay.
I'm sorry, I didn't know how many people might be here.
No problem.
But the first sheet there is a breakdown of the budget. I just want to say thank you again to the Disability Commission for giving the Westport Recreation Department $5,000. That happened in November of 2022. And this is just a little breakdown of what we've used thus far. So most of it, as you can see, is staffing fees.
Mm-hmm.
So paying someone to help with a little bit of extra help in their camps,
Yep.
to be an aid for our Disney Week and our Splish Splash Sea Week. Also for our Sports Week camp. And then we did try offering a after-school program for kids who have maybe some behavioral social challenges. We hired a licensed clinical social worker for that.
Wow.
Her name was Jessica Bouchard, and she ran a Circle of Friends program. And so we paid her, obviously, for her time and effort with that program. It went very well. It was challenging, I would say, but she met the challenge. I assisted her too every day of the program. And I feel like we learned a lot. We created stations for the kids and broke them up into smaller groups and then had them rotate through the stations. And some of the things that she was very good about addressing with the children was when a child would have a frustration or a conflict with either the activity or usually with someone else in the group, how to negotiate that and how to handle that. And you know, it's tough. It's tough for someone without a challenge, but it can be really tough for someone with a challenge or attention issues.
Sure.
So this group really was kind of like practicing that, but not in a school setting, not in a home setting, but in a social situation of fun and recreation with other kids. And I think that's something that you know, can translate to school and home as well, you know, to be able to practice that with friends and peers. So I would love her to do another program like this. I reached out to her, I didn't hear back. So I'm hoping we can have her do it again. If not, I'll search for someone else, because I think it's a program that is really beneficial and for a lot of kids who are, you know, kind of struggling with that kind of stuff.
I think it's hard for the parents of those kids also to find programs to send them to. So
That's a good point.
You can support that. I think there's definitely an audience. I think your challenge is probably those parents tend to give up looking for things like that.
Right.
So getting the word out enough that it's available is
correct. And actually that program did fill up pretty well, like once we advertised it. So there was a need.
Great.
And it's a matter of just finding the right person to run that kind of group and fill that need. And that, I would say, is my biggest challenge, is finding people who are willing to run groups and programs that are a little more specialized. I also think finding someone who's comfortable working with someone to provide that one-on-one assistance. In our camps, it's usually teenagers, so like sometimes I'll step in as that aide, and I'm really trying to work to get like a list of people who'd be willing, like I can call
Yes.
or email if we have a child with special needs that just, or even an adult with special needs in our program who just needs a little more assistance. And of course, that would be at no extra cost to the child or family. You know, you've provided that assistance for
Good.
our department. So as you can see, we still have funding that we can put
saw
toward that for this summer and beyond until
Good.
we are out of those funds. So that being said, I just want to also share within this packet, I did apply for a grant. So this grant is through, it's called Massachusetts Inclusive and Accessible Outdoor Recreation Events Grant Program.
Wow.
Long title there, but in a nutshell, the grant is twofold. It's trying to encourage people to do outdoor programs and events so that people can be in touch with nature, and it's encouraging more accessibility for people with different special needs. And not only people with special needs, but anyone really, but like trying to encourage people to think about how do we make the outside natural world more accessible for
Nice.
those with challenges.
Mhm.
So with the help of a volunteer named Maya, her and I worked together to write this grant, and I have a copy of it in your packet.
Brian's got it, right?
Yeah, and
Yeah.
I shared it. I had a meeting with the CPAC parent group who were so wonderful. Carrie heads that up, and they gave me a lot of advice on what kind of event to offer for this
Oh,
kind of
okay.
grant.
Mhm.
And I also spoke with 21 Friends to see
Oh.
what their thoughts were. So that really helped kind of drive what we were going to do.
Okay.
And so the basic idea is that we want to do a kickoff to summer event the first Saturday of the summer for kids and families who are out of school. So that's what we're calling it, Kickoff to Summer. And I have the collaborative support of the Westport Land Conservation Trust. They've agreed to do it at the Westport Woods property. If this were to go, the amount of grant money we applied for was $10,000
Oh,
for
good.
one event. So I'm really psyched about that.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome.
But basically, we're offering this to a wide range of folks, but mostly like families and kids. But of course, anyone with any special need is welcome to attend. So some of the things that we are going to be doing, let me just find my list here in the grant. Okay, so basically we said the grounds will transform for a day filled with joy and adventure. Upon entering the event, we'd like to buy Moby mats so that we can provide better accessibility around those grounds that we have the event. Now, I don't know if we need to specifically buy Moby mats, and this is where maybe you all can help with this, or if there's something else that might be better to look for if we're not on sand, but just like on maybe bumpy, grassy ground. So our thought is we'll thoughtfully arrange those for better accessibility, and we're going to have a variety of nature excursions. So there's the meadows and trails there, but we also thought we could hire an ASL interpreter to be on deck to assist in any way needed, as well as maybe some other aides to be there, or just professionals. And then we're going to offer live musical acts and schedule them at different times in the event, and that would provide some entertainment and cultural awareness. And we were thinking, in my mind, I was thinking like if we could do one musical act that's maybe more upbeat and kid-friendly, but then another musical act that's more calming and culturally, significant, just like to show the different types of music that we could offer that might be, attract different kinds of folks. So, and then we were going to try and get food trucks that would be sensitive to gluten-free as well as allergies, so that anyone with those needs, would be accommodated. And let's see, we're going to have art and craft stations. And one of the things I'm really excited, I reached out to a local artist who's a fiber artist, and I found an example online of something that I want her to make, and I said, can you make this? And she said yes. So what it is, it's basically a hanging art sculpture but it's interactive and it's not precious. It's something kids can pull on, hang on, like walk through, but it's a series of hoops, and there's just like torn colorful material that's like braided and hanging down,
Yeah.
so that anyone can go through it and feel the fabric and almost think of like a car wash.
Yeah.
But it would be hanging from a tree, and it would
That's
be
great.
a real highlight, I think, and
Yeah.
really visually, but also like for the touch
Yeah.
and the feel of it.
Yeah.
And so in addition, we're thinking of other sensory type things we can do. I envisioned this whole bubble land. So having bubble machines and maybe a tunnel where there's bubbles and kids can go through the tunnel. I mean, we were trying to get real creative in our thinking. We even thought of maybe doing or hiring a portable rock climbing wall. Now, obviously, not everyone would be able to do that if they had a physical challenge, but those that tend to like to climb or be physically active could, try that out. We wanted to have face painters, airbrush tattoo artists, balloon artists, maybe a petting zoo so kids can learn about animals outside through that and touch them and feed them. And I wanted to reach out to, I haven't yet, because I don't know if I have the money yet, but Gnome Surf.
Yeah.
They do those land surfboards, and I thought they can come and offer that. We're going to have sensory bins on tables featuring sand, corn, foam, water. And also the Land Trust has that children's area where kids can climb on rocks and play with the sticks and create things. I also think we could give them money through this grant, like if they want to do a sensory garden. They already kind of have a butterfly sensory garden there, but maybe we can help fund a little more. So I think there's more that I have in here, but that's an example. And so it's not about carnival rides or things like that.
That's great.
It's more about just like exploring with your senses, having fun outside, and like just being inclusive for all as most possibly as we can be. So if we get that money, a lot of it will go to the services that we provide, but and there was an example budget, I think. I'm sorry, I don't think I attached the budget to this, but I had to for the grant. But even if we don't get the full funding, my thought is we can do a pared down version of this idea, because I already have the Land Trust okay to do it there. So that's pretty exciting.
Yeah. When you first said 10,000, it sounded like a lot, but with all that's going on, that is not. It's gonna
It
go
goes
fast.
quickly.
Yeah, you know that. Yep.
Right, and the other stipulation of this grant, it had to be used by the end of June. And they haven't even announced the winners yet. So here we only have like 3 months, to plan it.
Yeah.
So I did get an updated email saying they're still going through all the applications and reading through them to let us know.
Well, this is exciting.
But yeah, and one of the parents from CPAC, when I was talking with her, said, she teared up and she was like, my sister had a disability, my children have a disability. She said, I don't know if there's ever been a large community event in Westport that has claimed they're inclusive or all inclusive or for everyone. Like, if you go to other events, there might be challenges with the ground that you're there, and like the carnival rides and things like that. So this really, we're trying to make it
You're focusing on
just like
inclusivity.
Yes, and it being okay for everyone to come.
Yeah.
And so, when she spoke of that, I'm like, oh, that's really cool. That'll be special then. So the other thing, as you know, is our new playground.
Yeah,
and
so
in the
excited.
packet, I included this. This was the PowerPoint I did for the Board of Selectmen when I let them know about what we were working
I
on.
remember that. I saw that on.
And it just speaks to the benefits of having a nice playground, shows pictures of what's currently out there and why we really do need to replace this playground. It talks about how we secured the funding, and then it shows some of these picture examples. And Martin came to our Recreation Commission meeting, and so we were able to talk with him a little bit about like you know, we're really stressed to the playground company with their design, like why it's important. We make sure it's ADA accessible and, you know, as inclusive as it can be. So some of the features that I can just share with you that are going to be really important is the rubberized poured surfacing. You know, I actually just went to the Massachusetts Recreation and Park Association conference in Norwood, and I sat in on a session about how to make our parks and facilities more ADA compliant and like what we need to think about. And I mean, of course, he's like, wood chips are not good.
Yeah, that's passé now, yeah.
You know, it's just, you know, he the presenter was, you know, in a wheelchair, and it was like a electronic kind of motorized wheelchair. He's like, I cannot go on wood chips. If I do, I get stuck. It goes to the raw ground, and he spoke of the challenges, and he said rubberized surfacing is the way to go.
Okay.
It just should be the norm now. Now, yes, it costs more.
As I say, more expensive.
But it just is safer, it lasts longer,
Of course.
And it's just better. So that's what we got.
Good.
And in addition to that, we also made sure to have a spinning tilt-a-whirl type feature that is in ground, just like the one at West, if you're familiar.
I saw that one, yeah.
So that anyone with a physical challenge can wheel or walk right onto it. There is going to be a seat in that, as well as like bars so someone can hold it, and then it could be spun and someone can just wheel or walk right off. We also have a seesaw that is unique, and so for this, someone in a wheelchair would have to be transferred to it, but there are 4 seats that someone could be transferred to, as well as a middle portion that's bigger and flatter, I believe, so that someone could lay down on that portion too. So I like the idea that there's could be more than just 2 kids on this and of different abilities, because again, it's showing kids how to work together in play and socialization. Other features are our whole structure has ramp access, so that anyone in a wheelchair or physical challenge can go up that ramp to be
level, right?
higher.
Yeah, great.
As well as there are play along the way features.
Cool.
So they're not just going up the ramp and doing nothing.
Yeah.
You know, when they go up the ramp, they'll see, oh, I can interact and do this musical thing, or
Right.
oh, I can do this thing. So that is good. And then someone, I think, too, could potentially be transferred to go down a slide if that works for them, from being up top. The other thing that I personally wanted to make sure was in this plan was a slide that has roller balls, and it gives sensory input to someone sliding down. So of course you have your typical slides that are, you know, flat and just go.
Yeah.
And we actually do have 2 small slides for toddlers, 2 larger slides that are 8 foot, 1 curvy, 1 more kind of like straight or angled. But this rollerball slide, it was actually, they had one at my son's old elementary school in Illinois, and kids lined up to go down the slide. They all loved it. And I went down the slide, and you can understand why, because that sensory input of the rollers is fun, and it feels good. It's almost like a massage.
Yeah.
So kids will lie down and slide it. Of course, they'll sit and slide on it. And it's just different. Like, I haven't seen that kind of slide around in this area, and we did research a lot of the playgrounds in the South Coast. So I'm excited that we have that,
That's
and
great.
that's a cool feature. Also, in this, there is, it's, I think by law, with playground companies, where you will have a transfer platform, where like, if someone didn't want to go up the ramp, they could pull up to the platform, they would be transferred to be on the bigger structure. And then we have our cool whale, and we have a turtle. These are just kind of fun, decorative, but also interactive. Like, you can climb on it, you can go under the whale tail, you can, you know, it's just neat features. It is a nautical theme, and like part of it does look like a ship. We also are going to utilize the wonderful, wheelchair accessible or
Swing, right?
swing.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't know if it's wheelchair accessible. What would you call it? Probably
Yeah,
just
Well, it is once you get there.
handicap.
Yeah.
Handicap
Good
accessible.
point.
Getting to it is-
Yeah, handicap
Yes,
accessible, yeah.
handicapped accessible.
Yeah.
So that we're gonna just
That's
use
nice
in
that
the
you
new
can use it.
playground.
Good, I'm
Yeah,
glad
I was
you
like,
did
why
that.
do we have to get a new one? We have
Yeah,
one.
yeah, great.
Is that gonna be the playground here by the annex?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, we're just gonna take that off the chains and put it up in the new
Oh,
one.
great.
Yeah. Trying to think if I missed anything. We also have several different climbing, kind of rock wall type features and poles that have the rock wall climbing things. We have climbing bars. We have portholes that kids can look through.
That's great.
Which makes them feel like they're on a ship and for
Yeah.
that imaginary
Imagination
play.
yeah.
We have musical elements on some of those panels I was talking about
Mhm.
that I think kids will really like. So just lots of fun stuff.
Sounds great,
Yeah.
Dana. So exciting.
It's
So-
fantastic.
Yeah.
And this is starting up pretty soon, no?
Yes. So the playground company is just going to let me know when their equipment's all in, and they had said in the spring, and then we're going to do the demo, prep of land, and install. And then the last thing is pouring of the surface, the rubberized surface, and installation of the fence.
So don't they actually pour it?
Yes,
Wow.
on site.
Very
It'll be cool to see them do that. Yes.
Hi, Sue Sherman. First of all, I want to applaud you. I am currently opening today, a brand new pediatric rehab facility, and I'm building out our playground, and you touched every base. So kudos to you. You guys really did a great job. I just wanted to thank you for that.
Well, thank you.
And wondered, what company did you end up going on?
Sure. So we did get, I think, up to 5 quotes and design plans. We've narrowed it down to 3, and then we narrowed it down to 2, and so we ended up going with MRC Game Time. They do a lot of the Dartmouth playgrounds,
Oh,
and so we were able to see a lot of their examples.
that's great. That's,
Yes.
Yeah, that's real cool.
The other one that was in the running was Compan. They did a really cool design too, but we just in the end had to kind of vote, and majority went with.
What did a playground like this come to cost? What was that?
Okay, so the overall cost of this playground.
Because there was a lot of features here. There's
Yep.
A lot of,
So right now it's around $641,000, $510.86.
which nobody gets that. They don't realize how expensive.
Yeah. So the playground equipment itself is about $611,000. Demo and prep is around, say, $14,000.
Mhm.
Fencing, I think we got a different quote that was lower than the fencing quote I put in here, maybe.
Good.
So I think it was around 16,000. And we haven't yet, planned, I mean, we have a little money planned for signage out there, but we haven't worked with a company just yet.
Yeah.
That might be the last
talked
thing
about
we do, that we
something
can just
might-
put
we
in a
might be able to
sign.
help you with too, right? We discussed that.
Yeah,
We'll talk
sure,
about it.
sure. So this is all so exciting, right? But we're already on to planning the new playground we want to do at Bicentennial Park too. So the one at Bicentennial Park, I was going off the stone that's out front in that park that says it's from 1999. But then I heard from someone who works here in town that no, that park is a lot older.
I remember hearing that too, yeah.
So I was like, oh, so I mean, the annex playground's 30 years old, so this Bicentennial could be 30 or more too. I was thinking he was about 25 years old, but it could be more. So that playground, when you see it from afar, you think, oh, it's okay, and then you go on it, and there's exposed metal and some things that just are not safe, and we want to replace it ASAP.
Yes.
So we have started the process of talking with different playground companies, and we have Compan is going to give us a design on April, our next meeting, I think it's April 8th. Or is it 6th? I'm sorry, I don't have a calendar in front of me, but so they're going to come and kind of give us what their thoughts are based on what we said we wanted. Now for this playground, we definitely want some different features, but also, of course, still staying as inclusive as possible. One thing we really want to do is a zip line. So they have one over at Tiverton Farm,
Yeah.
and it's super popular. I've seen them in Illinois when I lived there, and they were also super popular. So we want, ideally, I'd love to have like a double zip line so kids can race and they can go back and forth. And so we are going to be talking with the playground companies about what is best for someone who might have a physical challenge, like what kind of seating we should
Right.
need for the zip line. Like maybe on one we have a different seating than the other, just so there's a variety, I don't know. The other thing we are talking about, this was a request from someone on our rec commission, was to have some really tall slides. Now, that doesn't quite work for someone with a physical challenge, because any like tall slide, it would be like, we did 8 foot as the tallest at the annex, but the ones that you could possibly do are like 12 feet. I mean, pretty tall. So if you go that tall, the playground companies have said you do, of course, need different platforms that going up stairs, and like you have to kind of encapsulate those areas so kids don't fall out.
Right.
And then the slides could be covered with tubes, you know,
Right.
for safety
And
too.
Tiverton has that too. They've got a couple.
Yeah.
They do?
Oh yeah,
I
that,
check that out.
that playground is, and it's interesting where Westport has the two. That you know, we've come to appreciate that playground in Tiverton as an older kids playground.
Oh, yeah.
There's certainly some younger kid apparatus
Features, yeah.
Yes.
around the ground, and they've got a small little you know, kind of farm climbing thing for kids. But the majority of it is
It's for older.
if you're in that 8 to 14 range, it's got a lot of fun things. I think.
Yeah,
So,
and because the annex has the common nursery school here
Yeah,
too,
that's true.
we wanted to be mindful that younger, smaller kids are going to be using this playground a lot. But we want older kids to come too. But that kind of opened it up to, well, maybe in our second playground in town we could do stuff, a little more adventurous stuff
cool.
for older kids.
Okay.
Is the skate park still used over there?
I don't know. I
Yeah.
mean, it's hard to know because here I can look out the window.
Yeah.
Over there, I have heard some people use it,
Once in a
but
while, you know.
it's
every time I
really
drive
in
by,
bad
I rarely
shape.
see anybody there, yeah.
I mean, just looking out there, there's cracks, there's graffiti, there's, you know, in the summertime grass.
Would you think
going
of
through
taking that all away, or would you still leave,
I think it needs to
To
be demolished or taken away. It's just the question there is, what do we put in its place? Do we do another skate park, or do we do pickleball courts, or do we do a dog park? Like, there's some other options out there, and maybe it's a matter of like surveying the community and seeing
True.
what they want at this point in time. I think trends come and go, and needs
Good
of the
point.
community come and go too. Pickleball is huge now, and I get it all the time. Like, why doesn't Westport have pickleball courts?
Yeah.
We have spoken with the folks building, or have built, the youth Westport Youth Athletic League fields off 177. They said they would be open to having pickleball courts over there too. So if we do pickleball courts over there, like maybe we can have that skate park space be something different.
I see.
But our mission right now is to just replace that playground structure that's
Yeah, that's a
there
mess, yeah.
and isn't in great shape, and just replace that with something
With the recent
better.
rain, I noticed too, it was all flooded.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it was
And
terrible
that's wood
drainage
chip.
there.
Yeah, the drainage is bad. The wood chips,
Okay.
it's, yeah.
I don't know if there's space over there, but even just the mini walking tracks, it doesn't need to be like a track that you would do track and field on, but Tiverton has that too, where it's just it's a paved track
Yeah.
that goes around the
Where is the
area.
Tiverton playground? I'd like to take a look at it.
It's over by, what is it they call it, Town Farm. There's the baseball fields, they do a farmer's market
Where-
there.
where
It's
the-
off
where
of
the-
77 down by...
177 Stafford Road intersection, am I in the wrong area? No.
I don't know. I
Okay,
always
so-
forget the names.
Yeah, so it's not 177, but 77, like you're heading...
Oh, 77,
Yeah,
okay.
like you're heading to the...
Like
Gray's ice
Evelyn's
cream.
and all that
Yeah,
stuff,
you know
yeah.
where the four corners is? Where
Yes.
you got, if you head north from there on 77, over on the right, they've got some baseball fields.
Okay,
And then right behind the baseball fields, there's
I'll take a look at it.
playground.
Okay.
You
thanks.
could Google it, and you
We
would
can?
see it from Google Maps. It's Tiverton Town Farm
Thank you.
Playground.
Yep.
Yeah. They actually have, I think, some good ways to view it online without even
Oh,
going there if you
okay.
want. I think Tim Gillespie did that.
Oh, nice, okay.
So right now, we did get approval through the Community Preservation Commission for $350,000
Wow,
to go toward that effort,
fantastic.
but it still has to be approved by town meeting.
Yeah.
If that's approved in May, We also will have $175,000 left over from CPC money from the first time we asked for it. And then I think we're gonna have a little bit left over from our anonymous donation we received for the annex. So we're gonna have some really good seed money to get that going, and then our plan is to also possibly go for another grant, maybe through Bay Coast Bank or somewhere that
Sure.
we think we could have a good possibility of getting it. So
That's great.
Exciting, very
Yeah.
good, that's
Yeah.
fantastic.
Yeah, like Sue said, these are projects that the town has kicked around for years and nobody's been able to actually pull
Right,
off.
right.
So for you to do both,
That's amazing, that really is.
incredible.
well, thank you.
And then to look at it from the perspective that you are, I think our daughter's 8, so we're playground aficionados.
Oh.
Yes.
The best playgrounds are the ones that are inclusive without knowing it. And,
Yes.
Right,
that's
that's
what it
agreed.
sounds like you've got, where it's the kids are all playing on it equally without even knowing that there's been thought put into it to
That's
do
a
that.
good point.
Correct.
Because everybody just has equal access.
And
So-
that should be the standard.
Yeah.
It just should. I think coming from Illinois, where Parks and Recreation is huge, I lived there for 22 years.
Oh.
I took advantage, or I took for granted, that we had so many great playgrounds nearby.
Wow.
And so coming here, I was very surprised. I realize it's a small town, but it's been my goal from the start of, trying to improve those. So I'm glad it's finally happening.
That's where we meet a lot of the other families, You
Yeah.
start to see some of the same families around, some of the
That's
same
right.
kids. You start to ask about the schools they go to, and it's like the
That's
sports we
right.
were talking about earlier.
Yeah.
It's an area that families with similar kids and similar ages come to meet each other.
It's so true. And for grandparents, it's where they bring their grandchildren
That's right.
and try and get outside with them and enjoy being together. And
Fantastic.
yeah.
Yes, very good.
So, did you guys have any other questions for me at this point?
No, we are always looking for ways to help people in town, so, and every year we talk about money that we want to give away. So if you feel that you're ever in need for some additional cash, please let us know.
Okay, thank you.
Call any one of us and just let us know what you need.
Thank you so much. I will say, one thing I have thought about, and forgive me if I stand.
No.
So I don't know if you guys have noticed that the wheelchair sign for the wheelchair space out there near the playground is very low.
Yeah.
It's large, but it's old and faded and
It's
very
faded,
low. So if
yeah.
a car were to park in front of there, they wouldn't see it.
Right.
So I don't think that's ADA compliant. And I was wondering if your committee would maybe approach the highway department to see if that a better sign that's higher up
Okay.
and more ADA compliant could be installed there.
Yeah.
You want to do that, obviously, you want it right now or after?
Whenever.
Okay.
Yeah, because we're not touching that area, the parking lot, when we install the new playground.
You want that same size, just higher?
They did some new signs for when the highway department renovated the ramp for
Yes.
us, going into the gym on the side there. I believe they might have put a couple new signs there. If you just take a look at what they put there, like the
Same
same
thing?
Yeah,
Okay.
like if they could just put the same one.
Is the entrance going to be in the same spot for the playground?
Yes,
Okay,
yes.
yeah, so that's.
And we're trying to keep the brick walkway because those were all bricks that were paid for by people who kind of were dedicating their brick to someone in their family.
Right.
And, yeah.
Yeah.
Martin, you might want to talk to Jim Hardnett about the signs, because I know when I first joined the commission, the signs by this building, the ones on the road in the driveway, were all covered over. So I mentioned it to the then town planner, and he immediately got the highway department out there
Sure.
to paint them.
That's great.
I'll take care of it.
And to be honest, I'm not real certain about the signs at the Bicentennial Playground either. So I'd have to physically go over and look at
No,
those.
we're not talking about parking signs here. This is a sign to show where the entrance is?
No,
or just
it's
to
a
say-
parking sign.
Yeah, the handicap parking.
That's all, that gigantic sign is?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought
It's
it was.
low.
Right. But I just thought it was a basic sign to say this is the entryway for the handicap.
No, I believe that is the handicap sign for the space that's
Boy.
there. It's the
Oh,
one
okay.
handicap space right near the
Oh, I see. It
entrance.
does have an insignia on the ground too. I see what you're saying.
Yep.
Oh, sure. That shouldn't be a
Yeah.
problem at all. Okay. We'll get right on that.
Yeah, and then I don't know, again, forgive me.
Yeah, no, go ahead.
Um,
Is there others?
I don't think there's any handicap. I think that's the one spot. So I don't know if there's a standard right now that it only needs to be one spot or two.
One per
One.
14 or 15 spaces, depends.
Okay, so it's probably good then.
That's in front of a commercial development, like a store. And I don't know for a playground.
Yeah, I don't know either.
We'll look that up.
Okay.
I don't think it's too much different than that, though. Okay, cool. Do you know if there's any handicap accessible picnic tables there? I'll take a look. From what I
Yes.
see, are they?
Yes,
they should
there
have
is
them on the side
one.
as well.
There's one, yeah.
The one on the left, it has on the right edge, it juts out more.
Oh, yeah, I couldn't see it from this little view, but I see
Yeah.
you saying, yeah, the one on the right? Yeah,
Yeah.
okay.
And it'll be great once it's the poured rubber.
Or
'cause
Martin,
it'll be
it's
easier.
the table over to the left, but the right side of the table juts out more.
Oh,
Do you see that?
that little table there with the two benches that are not connected versus this one right here. Do you see what I'm?
Oh, no, not the benches, the picnic table.
Yeah, right, okay, I got
Okay.
you. Yeah, okay.
Do you see how the right side comes out? more?
Yes, I do,
Okay.
I do.
So that, I believe, is a wheelchair accessible
Okay.
picnic table.
Good,
And we are gonna try and utilize those picnic tables still.
okay.
In that area, we're getting rid of the benches on the right, and we're gonna try and keep the two benches that are there in the front. But we have 3 brand new benches as part of the poured surfacing that are gonna be in place too. So that'll kind of be something we look at when he's demoing the space, if he has to like pull those out, where we're gonna place stuff, so.
Great.
Because there's going to be grass area around the poured surfacing still, that we can have the picnic tables and
Yeah, that'd be
benches.
nice. Good, okay.
How is the food pantry doing?
Very good. Thanks for asking. Our donations have been amazingly generous, and we have one hired staff now at 20 hours a week. She's the director, Cindy Wilson, and so she handles all of the daily operations and the ordering of the food. We now are a member of the Greater Boston Food Bank.
Nice.
So we get free food through them. We have to order it on their website, and then the New Bedford Hunger Commission helps deliver it right to us. They have a vehicle that they bring it to us. And then we have great relationships with Lee's. We've been buying eggs through them. And then I forget if we're getting bread through Aldi or Lee's, but you know, we've done our research so that we know where to go to get the least expensive foods, and you be able to stretch our dollars. But the need is there. We still are giving out a lot of bags of food every week, and we are we're trying something new, 2 new things, big things actually. One is the Westport Food Pantry Garden we're starting. So one of our board members, Stephen Clayton, he approached the trustees and the town about revitalizing the Westport Town Farm
That'll be something.
and creating it into a garden, and we are going to have our volunteers help cultivate the land, plant food, and it'll go to free to people in
Wow.
need.
Isn't that something, huh?
Pretty cool.
Great idea.
So
It's
that's
a perfect use for the town.
Right.
Yeah.
That's what it should be.
And
Yeah.
That's great.
For
so.
anybody who's listening or watching, what day can they go and pick up food at the food pantry?
Sure. So we have our free food distributions to anyone in need every Monday in the morning. So we have winter hours, and then kind of fall winter hours, and then spring summer hours. So I believe the spring summer hours are starting in April. You can check our website at westportfoodpantry.org for more info. But I believe the new summer hours are going to be 8:30 to 10:30, I think, or 11, something like that. Right now, for the winter, it's been, I think, 9:30 to 11. So anyway, we're adjusting it as needed with the
Sure.
time change and everything. But yeah, every Monday, someone in need can pick up free food. So we give out all of the basics of boxed and canned food items such as pasta and tomato sauce and canned vegetables, rice, cereal, stuff like that. But we also are able to now give out eggs because we have freezers in our space, and refrigerators, so we can give out frozen meat, eggs, and I believe we've been doing shelf-stable milk. So we've been able to expand what we're able to offer because of the generosity of people giving. We've been able to get freezers and
That's wonderful.
yeah. And
That would donated the freezers, you think?
yes,
or-
Weatherlow Farms
Wow.
helped us
Oh.
with the freezers and
Okay.
getting those. And I think the refrigerators. So yeah, it's
That's
been
a
great.
big, that's a big plus, yeah.
And then the other thing that we're starting, which I'm not sure how it will be, but I've been telling our board it's a pilot program, is so I approached the schools through my contact at the schools, the Westport schools. I asked how many families are considered low income. And I don't know what the range is in terms of income levels they asked, but according to their records, they have over 400 families, or approximately 400 families that are considered low income in Westport. And that number really surprised me. So I asked the board if we can do a special food distribution just to invite Westport families who might need that help. So that will happen. The flyer and info is going to be actually going out this week to those families who might, need it. And the school's helping us deliver that message.
Good.
So we're gonna do, because usually Monday mornings, some families might not be able to make that time because they work, and anyone who can't make that time, and if they have a relative or a friend who can make it, they can pick up
They can,
for
that's
that
nice.
family member or friend. So I just want to put that out there too. We do allow that. But we're gonna try and do it on a Friday from like 4:30 to 6:30.
Yep.
So we're gonna try that once and see how many families we get. We're really trying to help those families with children. And it could be that like someone is just under hard straits because they lost their job or just having a hard time with the current economy. We really don't discriminate. We do, the first time they come, they don't have to fill out any paperwork or anything. It's a drive-through service. But we are going to hand out our paperwork for new clients, and there's certain information we do have to capture in order to get grants and to help us get funding.
Yes.
So, and it also gives us good data as to like who we're surveying and that kind of thing, and be able to communicate with them if we do anything different like this. Like we could advertise it to them.
Is it restricted to just Westport residents?
No, so our food pantry is for Westport because we're in Westport, but it's for any surrounding communities as well.
Now, if people want to donate,
Yes.
I mean, I read an article about some people, they're generous, but they don't know what to donate, so they're giving the wrong things that might not be stable enough to get. So what is it that the food pantry needs the most?
Sure. So, I mean, when we get food, it goes right out the door the same week usually. So we are constantly in need of all different types of shelf-stable foods. But we will take monetary donations. It could be in the form of check or cash if people want, but we also have a way on our website that you can just use your credit card and hit the donate button. There's also a way that if you feel like you want to donate on a monthly basis, a certain amount, they can set that up through our website too. And if they just want to make an annual contribution, they can do that as well. So really, we try to make it as easy as possible for people to give if they want. And it's one of the, I mean, when I started this, I never imagined it, expanding like this. And it's been such a learning experience for me. And it's really just amazing how the community has come together to help each other.
That's wonderful.
And to
Somebody
witness that
wants
is
to
really
donate.
nice.
Is it canned foods primarily, or how about fresh foods if somebody
We
has?
do accept fresh vegetables. So we have a lot of our local farms here in Westport and in Dartmouth that will deliver fresh vegetables to us early morning on Mondays to give out that morning to people.
Right.
So Heflin Community Gardens, trying to think, Round the Bend, and forgive me, some of the others are escaping me at this minute, but they, especially in season, when it's seasonal goods and they have an abundance of kale, say, they will bring us some.
Nice.
It was surprising to us when we were in investigating, just how many disabled residents Westport has, and if there are disabled folks in town who might be listening or watching, who are in need of food help or food assistance. The food bank is there.
Yes, yes. They can just call or email, and it's usually our director, Cindy, that will respond. And we always try to make some sort of arrangement or accommodation for someone in need. You know, typically, if someone can't come to us, they know someone in their life that could do it on their behalf, and that is perfectly fine, you know. We don't typically do like a delivery or door-to-door service. We're not there yet, but we have worked with the Council on Aging. They have a van driver and their own vehicle, and we've been working with them for some time now. Our volunteers prepare boxes of food, and they deliver them to the apartments off of Route 6, Greenwood Terrace, I believe. So for those folks, some of them can't get out, so we bring that to them. And then if you know, depending on who talks to us, we can then talk with COA and see if we can add to that list or make an accommodation.
That's great.
Oh, wonderful.
That's my other goal. I'd love to get like a refrigerated truck, and
That would be something. That's the next step. Yep.
And I will say too, you know, being able to operate out the basement of the Grange just on Main Road has been amazing.
That's been an indication,
We
huh?
have a letter of agreement in place with them, and they've been a great support in letting
Nice.
us be there. And also the Friends Meeting House across the street,
Yeah,
they let the cars who are in line for our food distribution kind of queue up in their circle drive there,
right.
and they have been a great support.
Yeah, they're great
So,
people. Yeah.
yeah, it really takes a community
It
to
does,
do something like
doesn't
this.
it?
You can't just do it one person.
Right.
It has to be
Right.
many minds and hearts coming together for it. So.
Yes. Wonderful. Well, that's great.
Anybody else have anything to ask?
That's all you're doing? That's it?
Yeah, right.
Sounds great. Yeah.
Well,
Certainly keep it busy.
I will say, if you have any other suggestions, ideas, I know I've done some outdoor movie nights for the 21 Friends group. If you know of anything else that you might want to do, please feel free to reach out, because I'm always open to new ideas and working with people to get something going and something happening. Yeah, I mean, I guess I'm the kind of person who's like, why not? Let's just try it. Let's do it.
Great attitude. Yes.
And if it doesn't work, you
That's
reevaluate
right.
it and try something else.
Move
So.
on. Yes.
But thank you guys. I mean, your group has been such a support, and it's very, very much appreciated, because I am a department of one person. We
Yeah.
have a wonderful recreation commission, so I'm lucky there. But to have your support and invite me here to speak today is very nice. So
Thanks
thank
for
you.
coming out on your day off, and we appreciate it, and we're there for you. So keep
Oh,
us in
thank
mind,
you,
okay?
thank you.
Nice to see you.
You too. Do I leave now?
What's that?
Do you want me to stay, or do I?
No, you just stand up and bow.
Oh,
Then you can leave.
Oh.
No, just go on your way.
okay. Thank you so
Thanks
much.
so much for coming by. Bye.
Thank you for coming in.
Take care.
Have a good day.
too.
Bye. You too.
Well, we have a few more things, but I'll try to get through them quickly.
Sure.
Next is the wheelchair warranty bill. We sent letters to our local representative and senators, and I received a response from Senator Rodriguez, who's very, very supportive of folks with disabilities and accessibility, and he'll do whatever he can. So I know that he was a big supporter. I did not receive a response from Representative Schmidt. He's announced that he's not going to seek re-election.
Mhm.
And I think Steve Ouellette, who's currently one of our select board members, is going to run for office there. So we'll just get out and vote and keep an eye on that. And if Mr. Ouellette gets elected to that spot, we will push him
Sure.
for whatever assistance we need. But as far as I know, the wheelchair warranty bill made it out of committee, and it's gone on to the full legislature for consideration.
There's been a lot of good coverage on it. I shared with you some of the Boston
Yeah.
Globe stories, so I think it's got really good momentum.
Well, yeah, and there've been a lot of people who've testified, And I sent in a written testimony about
The stories are incredible.
the experience that I had with the
Mhm.
warranty. When, 1 or 2 months out of warranty, the thing broke.
Unbelievable.
And unmovable. Now, the next is, there have been a lot of accessibility programs offered by the MOD, the Massachusetts Office on Disability. So we, and I know Martin gets the same publication.
I do.
We keep an eye on it and see what is happening and try to keep the members of our commission advised of the accessibility. There just was a hearing just the other day about accessibility issues, and not just door accessibility or playground accessibility, but let's talk about elevators in buildings, and so there's a lot of stuff happening, and we're just trying
Yeah,
to.
I try to attend the online seminars and so forth because they get some great information, and I think that we should, because obviously they're offering all this great resources, so we should take advantage of it.
Yeah.
You know, so.
I also have on here the effects on our beaches from the recent storms, and we all know what happened to East Beach Road and what a mess that was. And I did not go over to look at North Beach, or also known as Baby Beach, to see some of the effects there. But in the past, we've seen washouts there at Gully
Right.
Street.
I would assume that happened.
Fortunately, our highway department has been very responsive at fixing those types of things as they occur. But it's almost time to get out the mobility mats.
Yeah, I text Chris Gonzalez this afternoon because I told him I was having a meeting. Did he have any updates? Did his crew have a chance to go down to Beach Avenue and level? Because we've got to do that before April 1st, and he said yes. He just gave me one in. I guess he was busy.
Yeah.
So at least they've got it done. So it should be relatively smooth and ready to put the mats down pretty soon. I know that at one point, one of the corners of the geogrids had kind of stuck up. I don't know if you saw it or anybody saw it, but he said he'd put it back down for us. It wasn't anything major.
Good.
But with with the type of storms they have, I'm surprised
Yeah.
we didn't get anything worse. Those things didn't just fly out or anything. I was really glad with
the
the.
value of them. It helps to secure.
It really does. That was the whole idea, right?
Yeah.
So I'm really pleased with the response from them. So
It is remarkable the effect that water can have.
Amazing.
I was over, this was several months ago, to Beach Avenue. We just sat on the mobility mats and had a picnic. But right next to the mats was a relatively deep gully that had been created by brushing water.
Yeah.
And it exposed the edges of the mat. Didn't do any damage to the
No.
geogrid.
but it's yeah.
But, yeah, it's just incredible.
It doesn't.
And just like what had happened over at North Beach, that gully developed.
Yeah, it's amazing.
One
Just
huge storm.
digs that right out. Yeah. And speaking of, I'll be real quick about this. You and I, Brian, talked about it when it occurred, but last month or 6 weeks ago, there was a meeting because someone had brought up in town, I don't know what committee it was a planning board or whatever, about taking a look at Beach Avenue again, and they're thinking of putting, closing it down as a street and putting a boardwalk
Oh,
through there.
Up along the dune. It was
Yeah.
crazy.
Along the Dewey House, which is kind of crazy, but it was good because Chris Gonzalez was there, I was there, Ross Moran was wonderful, he took the real lead, and he just said everything was working fine the way it was. Chris Gonzalez said, listen, we have some washouts from the storms, we can get down there and get it back together real quickly, so we let it be. The boardwalk didn't seem to make any sense.
No, that seems like yeah,
Okay, we'll leave it at that.
strategic move.
Right.
That doesn't benefit the town, only benefits the area.
Exactly. So it seems to come up every so often, and I'm glad that we jumped on it and made our feelings known that we don't want anything done there. So I think that's all set for now.
I think longer term, quite honestly, if we can show some success with those geogrids at the very beginning,
Yes.
then you could make the argument that would be a wise investment to start
I agree.
moving up the road.
I agree.
So
Even to come up to the area where the signs are that say no
Yep.
parking after this area.
just to stabilize certain strategic spots that wash out regularly, it may be a good way for the town to save some money in the long term because
Yes.
it'll save some maintenance and save those landowners nearby some stress over equipment being down there. If it doesn't need to be down there to do the road
Yeah.
because it's stabilized, then
Yes.
everybody wins.
Yeah, agreed.
The geogrids are very, very effective.
Yeah.
For what we paid, it's a remarkable change between what it was and what it is now.
It just solidified that so well that there's no gullies there, there's no piles of sand, and
Yep.
I haven't heard anything from the police department, everybody getting stuck down there, so I think that it's working out well.
Yeah, and you know, if you're trying to get out of your car with a walker or canes, and
Yes.
all of a sudden you're in sand that's 4
Makes no
inches
sense.
deep, it's very, very difficult. So,
Mhm.
yeah, the grids are great. The next thing is, there was a request sent around in December by Michael Burris, the town planner, for anybody on our commission who wants to participate in a program that, the essence of it is, I guess, they want to talk about the resilience of the town to climate changes and things that will happen and how those changes might affect members of our community. So I know in the little bubble that I live in, I'm not all that concerned about climate change, but some people who live closer to flood zones and that sort of thing,
Sure.
in those types of areas might be concerned. I don't know that anybody on our commission has expressed a great interest in participating.
Is that not mandatory, but if nobody from our commission volunteers, is that going to be a problem? In other words, are they kind of, not requiring it, but they really want somebody from each committee to be there?
Well, they would like
Yeah.
it, but, you know, I think that they're trying to get this off the ground. It's
I didn't volunteer, to be honest with you, because I'm working right now with Jim and that gal from Serpent Foot
On the,
for the transitional plan, and to me, that's,
yeah,
we're stopped right now as we're getting this grant together and everything, but I don't want to jump into something else as well, but I don't know if anybody else is gonna.
and one of these days, our ADA transition plan team is gonna meet. Just any day now.
Well, as soon as we get all, you know, I was very impressed with Lizeth from the Serpent and how determined she was to get things going for us, and we discussed about doing a 5-year plan further out, you know, from what we have already, and we just stopped right now as she's applying for the grant, and I'll check in again and see what's going on. I haven't heard anything for a while, but that's where we stand on it.
Yeah.
I'm sure it'll come together.
Let us know, because Anders and I are
You're on there,
on
right?
there with you
Yep.
as representatives of our commission.
Okay.
So I know from your dealings with Lizeth or Lizbeth,
Yeah.
that she is very, very competent.
Very competent, very good at what she does. Yes, agreed.
The final thing that I have on here is the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, and particularly through Mass Health, is proposing cuts that will eliminate or reduce funding to PCA.
Yeah, I saw that.
You know, and those are professional caregivers who go into people's houses and help them with their activities of daily living.
Yes.
And these cuts will affect personal care, eating, going to the bathroom, shopping, going to laundry, get your clothes clean, or meal preparation. And it's not just a few dollars, they're talking about millions of dollars that would be cut. So thousands of personal care attendants will be cut loose.
Mhm.
And they won't have the ability to take care of people. I don't know where that currently stands. I know that there was a relatively recent meeting about it. But if everybody's okay with it, I will send a letter from
Yeah.
our commission to our representative and our senator and say, you know, we don't support these cuts, and we don't think it's a good idea to do that, because people need help. I know that if I didn't have my lovely caregiver,
Yes.
I couldn't get through the day.
Right. It's very important.
So,
I personally sent some letters on my own, but not on behalf of the commission, because I get one of the publications, and you also get the AAPD, I forget what it even
Yep,
stands for,
yep.
you know what I'm talking about? And they had a link right there where you could write in, and, you know, to Elizabeth Warren and a few others. I mean, not only statewide, but they really want to make sure this doesn't happen on any other level for other states as well. But I agree with you. I think it's an important step that we should take and have a letter written as part of the commission. And we'll see what happens. You know, it's supposedly the smallest cut that they can make, you know, because Governor Healy's pretty pro-disability, you know, but they're looking for,
Yeah, I think what you're pro comes out in what you support. And if she's supportive of something like this, it's hard to
yeah,
say that you're.
Yeah.
So, you know, in summary, I just pulled up on GBH.
yeah,
And it says that under Healy's current proposal, adults who receive less than 10
10 hours
hours
a week, right?
of activities of daily living would no longer be eligible. And they would put a cap on the hours authorized for meal prep from 13 hours currently down to 7. And it would directly impact, it would cut from service 6,000 individuals who may need to move into full-time assisted living or lose the independence with living at home. So that's a pretty direct impact on a small
Yes.
subset of the
Yes.
population.
Yeah, and the meal thing is crazy because some disabled folks need specific meals, and it takes a person quite a bit of time to put it together. So it's I agree with you. It's drastic.
Yep.
No.
Yeah, I'm
But
certainly supportive.
I think they try to sweeten it by saying, you know, those who have 10 hours or less, you know, because most people, I should say most, but a lot of people and friends of mine have had 33, 40, depending how disabled they are, they might have 70 hours, you know. So they're saying, well, 10 hours is nothing, but that person who needs just that 10 hours,
Yeah.
And even the people who need more than that, they're gonna cut that
That's
back.
back, yeah.
And I think the bean counters who try to slash and burn like this, they don't understand what it means.
Right.
And how it will affect people.
yeah.
All right, I will send a letter to our people in our legislature.
Absolutely.
Our next meeting is April 22nd, 2024, here in this room, in the annex, 3:45.
Do we need to, because we missed it earlier, but
Yeah.
just in terms of record keeping, just approve last minutes?
Yes, we
versus-
do, and I forgot to do that.
just 'cause we
Did
said-
everybody get copies of the minutes that I sent around?
Yes.
Anybody have any questions or changes that they would like to make?
No.
All right. Do I have a motion to approve the minutes of our last meeting, which was actually October 23?
So moved.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. The minutes of the meeting are approved. Now we have a motion to adjourn.
Motion?
Second.
All in favor of us getting out of here?
Aye.
Aye.
Thanks,
Good
Sue.
meeting.